Hello! Sorry about the delay, I had a few issues setting things up, but this is Kao the Kangaroo 2, and I am going to start right now. So this is a 3D platformer that was made in the GameCube era, Generation 6 I think. It was made in Poland, and it's not particularly well known. You're gonna probably miss most of the story.
Well. You want to go into the forest?
Because we can skip all the cutscenes, well, almost all of them. So this game's fairly straightforward. In terms of movement, the optimal way of moving is rolling and then jump tail swinging like this. Because like in a lot of other games, such as say Paper Mario, when you do a spin or a roll like this, the initial boost of speed you get is faster than normal speed, and then you kind of slow down a bit towards the end. So by jumping in the middle of the roll, we kind of cancel that loss of speed, and that's the maximum speed that we can really get, unless we guess a lot of things. So this is kind of a collectathon. The main objective, in order to reach the last part of the game, is to collect 1,000 of these coins, and we need 3,000, but we get 2,000 from other parts of the game, so in reality we only need to collect 1,000. Okay, that was weird. The camera's never done that before. We did a small skip there by not manipulating, but jumping over some broken geometry. And just landing on the other side of that gate. My frame rate is kind of low for some reason, so I'm not playing as well as I would normally, not to mention I've not had much practice. I'm not sure why my frame rate's dropped, but I didn't have time to really fix it. So other collectibles other than the coins, you've got the stars, which I'm collecting now. And every 50 stars you get a new power-up. We're only going to be getting the first power-up, which allows us to do a few skips. The other ones, it would take too much time to get, and plus one of the power-ups actually slows you down. It makes a tail swing attack, which I do like this. That. It makes that a lot slower.
Kale!
So we did another small trick there to bypass freeing two of the things, but we had to go to the right. One, to collect the coins, and two, because if you don't go to the right to collect those coins, for some reason it will soft lock on that cutscene that played with the flower. The final collectible, which you might have seen in the background, are the purple gems. We don't need to worry about those at all, because they are purely for unlocking bonus levels which you can get in the hub. This is one of the more annoying parts of the game. We have to herd these badgers into the holes. There's like nothing like this in the rest of the entire game. But it's kind of random. I got 2 in at once there, which is pretty rare and very useful, but depending on the way these badgers want to turn, like this one's going to turn to the right, I wanted it to turn to the left. They can be a pain to get in. So this is a heavy reset point, because it's right in the start of the game.
Thank you, Kao.
So you might notice that the language isn't English. I'm actually playing the Polish version of the game, because the Polish version of the game was released a year earlier, and has a lot of these bugs that I'm exploiting with the geometry were completely patched out in the other versions. But I have patched the Polish version to have English language, because I don't understand Polish. So this is one of the main gimmicks of the game. which is essentially you run towards the screen when you collect these pink power-ups, which usually towards the screen anyway. It's not always. Most of the time it is. And it's kind of difficult to control, but it's not a big deal. Once you get used to it, you don't genuinely fail. We can do a small thing to skip going on that bouncy platform there by going to the right. And if we take the left path here, the lower path, it's slightly faster. And we can skip that bouncy platform as well. So in terms of collecting 1,000 coins, most of them are just on the route as it is, so you don't really have to go out your way. If I'm a bit low on coins at a certain point, if I'm a bit low on coins at a certain point, I might go out of my way to collect some more, but that's probably not going to happen. So we can do double jump here to get this cage without having to go all the way around, which is kind of useful. These bee fiends can be annoying. Luckily they didn't hurt me this time. I jumped down there and I don't know why, but it didn't lose too much time anyway. If we align ourselves right, we can stand right in the middle here, hit the left acorn, and then hit the right acorn, and those are the only acorns we need to hit. And then we can abuse the boomerang throwing ability while in midair to get a little bit of extra I can't think of the word, a little bit of extra length to our jump, because you can jump, double jump. Oh, I need to kill that thing, didn't I? I can't believe I completely forgot that. I'm playing really badly right now. That's because I'm thinking about commentating.
Now. I won't be forced to dig crystals anymore.
You can jump, double jump, and tail swing to get quite a bit of length to your jump. But if you strafe jump, you actually jump faster, which means you go further. But when you strafe jump, you can't tail swing. But what you can do instead is throw the boomerang, which gives you the maximum length you can get from a single jump. And we will be abusing that quite a bit as the game progresses. I kind of have to be careful for the fish here, but I know where their hitboxes are. I kind of took it a bit too wide there. This dynamite can be a pain. Sometimes it will just run into that rock for some reason, and sometimes it won't. I'm not sure what causes it to sometimes do it and sometimes not. But we need it to blow up this part, which leads to the next level. This level's pretty interesting. It's got quite a few skips. We're meant to free these beavers, and they'll lower this bridge for us, but instead we can just jump on top of their cages and taunt them, and then just land on top of the bridge. Here we're meant to go down like a spiral kind of ramp, but we can just jump on top of that and ground pound. Kill this enemy to open the door and get these coins. And because we skipped these bits earlier, this bit now becomes invisible. So we have to time those jumps across the bridge carefully because we can't see them. I almost actually fell off on that one, so that was lucky. And also this part is also invisible because we missed that bit earlier. I forgot to get the I'm using the old route now because I forgot to get the boomerangs, because the boomerangs let us kind of do an animation skip. But I forgot to get them, so oh well. Quickest way of defeating those enemies is jumping at them, tail swing to hit them once, and then doing a free hit combo while you're on the ground, and that will take them out. on this version. On the other versions, I think, such as like the European or the American version, I think they take more hits. But yeah, we'd be able to skip that initial animation when we get this flying cap, if I had got the boomerangs, but I forgot to get the boomerangs. We can skip one of these clouds, like that. These platforms drop as you jump on them. They can be a pain, but if you time it right, you shouldn't be a problem. I might get one of these stars, it really depends on their pattern, so I did get one. Because stars are the main thing that we need to focus on, like making sure we have enough on, because we need 50 by the end of the second world. We were meant to hit all 3 of these balloons twice, but we can just hit 2 of them once. And that will give us enough distance to be able to jump all the way off. I did a little roll before the end of the platform. That lets us jump slightly later after the platform ends, which gives us that little bit of extra jump length that we need. So there's a slide here. We're meant to like slide all the way down, but I'm just going to jump off here. I jumped off slightly early. I'm a bit out of practice at this. I apologise. But yeah, you can just jump off the slide here, and you can skip the almost entire slide.
Hi, Kale.
Coming up now is River Raid, and this is probably my least favourite level. Due to a number of reasons. It's kind of boring and bland, because it's just the same thing over and over again. The controls for the raft, which is coming up soon, they're really bad. And we can almost skip the entire thing, it's just barely not possible. And also that skip sucks. Because we can just run along this geometry, or we're meant to be able to run along this geometry. My controls are being... Whoa, what the hell is happening to my controls? My camera's acting really weird. It's like lagging when it's turning. And we should be able to make that jump to the raft. Yeah, my camera was really being... That's never happened before. My controls are lagging out right now. I think it's because I'm using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, which I haven't done for a while. And the Wi-Fi is on 2.4 gigahertz, so this could be an issue with my controls being delayed by like 2 seconds. Yeah, this isn't the game. I think this is just the fact that my controller's lagging out. Hopefully that won't happen again now. It has stopped now. Yeah, no, that wasn't the game that has done that. That was my controller and the Bluetooth. I should have really thought of that before this, but that is one of the harder tricks anyway. Yeah. Right here, we can jump on top of this fence, and then we can abuse a damage boost from these spikes to get on top of this platform early. I'm going to collect these coins here, because it's part of the route. There's some of the few coins that you actually go out of your way to collect.
Kale, come here.
And then I'm going to break this cage, because we do actually need to break the cages in this level. Because they will open up this gate for us. There is something kind of rare that happens. Sometimes you're able to jump out of these rafts early, and that would be particularly useful in one area that's coming up. But we don't know what causes that, and we don't know why that happens. So it's probably not going to happen. I've never actually got it in a run before. I'm going to get this checkpoint for safety. Because otherwise if we die, we respawn way back. So we just have to pound this switch and jump over these pillars. And we can skip 2 of the pillars and just jump on that, and that causes the water to kind of glitch out, so you're kind of on water and kind of not. And now this is the area where if you're able to jump out, it saves a lot of time, but I wasn't able to jump out there, and I never have been, apart from like not in a run. Because we don't know what causes that. We can skip this climbing section here like that, and we can also skip this next climbing section in the same way, but it's a lot harder, especially with the camera. And because this is a marathon run, I'm just gonna play it safe and use the climbing section. This section can be a bit of a pain because depending on where these fireflies are, you may not actually be able to see the platforms that you need to land on. The ones with coins on are fine, but the other ones are a pain sometimes. Luckily, I kind of remember where they are.
Kao, come here.
So the beavers are opening this gate as well. But while this beaver floats down with his balloon, I'm gonna get these collectibles. This is another case where I've been able to jump out of the thing early, in a run actually. But I don't know what's caused that. And after this long level, we're almost at the end. That was the last raft section, so now we've just got a bit of platforming and combat to do, and then we'll be at the first boss of the game. Jump down here rather than going down the normal way, and we can also, if we hold forward after we hit the second one, we can overshoot it and land directly on this kind of island here. I'm gonna kill both of these things for the stars, and I'm also, you have to kill these things to unlock the gate that leads to the boss. So this is the first boss. It's pretty simple. We just have to kind of, he does his lightning strikes, and then we can ground pound certain parts of the floor. So I'm going to count for 4 lightning strikes. That's the third one. That's the fourth one. And then we can ground pound this part of the floor. Break all of these mirrors. And then we can time our shots at him. The first cycle lets you take out 3 health, the second cycle lets you take out 3 health, and the last cycle lets you take out 4 health. This cycle has 5 lightning strikes. And then the last cycle has 9 lightning strikes. So it's a pretty simple boss. There's not really anything you can do wrong aside from not hitting the right platforms, I guess. And mistiming these. There's no RNG in this boss at all.
You can't beat them all.
So that's kind of nice.
Freeing one little world changes nothing.
Now we're going back to the hub. and into the second world, which is just down here, which is the world of ice. The first level is going to be Igloo Village. Now you can like jump directly to this platform in the middle of the water, but that loses coins and it's kind of risky, and I don't want to do that in a marathon run. So I'm just going to collect the coins and do this way. Fun fact about these kind of ice slides, there was a time where there was a glitch. Essentially when you hit the ice slides, random stuff could happen. Like you'd either speed up completely, you'd lose all collision, or the game would just flat out crash. And obviously that is not a good thing when you're speedrunning it. So Flower35, who is Radix35 in the chat right now, found that what happened was the game was actually reading from uninitialized memory. And depending on what that value was in the uninitialized memory, different effects would happen. So we've fixed that now. We've essentially patched the game to fix that. I did a few skips there with the boomerang, and we're going to do another one right here. Or we would have done another one right there if I hadn't randomly lost momentum. So we can use the boomerang to just jump across there and skip the pirate. You're meant to push this kind of ice cube to jump over the spikes here, but we can just jump over them. And here is one of the bigger skips. What we can do is we can jump on top of this fence post, jump over to the other side if the camera was behaving. Okay, I need to reset this camera. The 30 frames per second really isn't helping here. Yeah, so we can jump over to the other side and then carefully jump around this ridge, jump on top of this fence post, jump on top of this roof, which for some reason is slippery. And then we can essentially be on the outskirts of the level and just roll our way past all of these platforming sections. Jump in a specific place here to ensure the next section actually loads. Jump on top of this cave, because in this game, things actually have collision from both sides. And then jump out the cave and back into the main part of the level. We're going to ignore this pirate, because he's slow to kill. If we jump right at the end here, we skip a cutscene for some reason. And now we're at the last part of the level. This section could be a pain, because sometimes you'll just like fall through a crack that's like a pixel wide as these icebergs fall. Yeah, the camera really sucks in this game sometimes. So now we're in the next part of the ice world, which is the ice cave. This is a pretty interesting level. I kind of like the aesthetic of it. We have another one of these barrel rides, which you would have seen at the beginning of the game in the first world. Except this time we have some boomerangs that we need to take out these spiders with. It's pretty simple, except for this one spider, which there is literally no way of avoiding getting shot by, but that doesn't really have any impact. As long as we don't get shot 4 times, we're good, because there's a health power-up right here. Which for some reason we didn't... Actually no, because the barrel health is different. I forgot that the barrel health was different. We can just jump around these spikes here. Now we need... There was a gate to the left there, and that's basically where we need to go. And we need to activate the switch. You're meant to go all the way around the outside and do some sort of platforming challenge to get to the switch. But if we just do a strafe jump with the boomerang, like I mentioned earlier, we can make the jump to avoid all of that. That opens this gate, and it opens this gate, and it opens another gate to a hidden area back, but we don't need to go to that one. Because all it has is coins, and we have enough coins. This sliding section's pretty easy to control. You can always jump if you're on those ramps, but otherwise you have to wait for that spinning animation. It was nice that they made it so you could always jump while you're on the ramps though, it makes it a lot easier. So we're collecting quite a few stars in this level, and we will be in the not the next level, but the level after as well. And that will bring us to the 50 that we need. Sorry if I dropped a few frames there. Now these spiders are almost impossible to avoid. Their shots home in on you, and it becomes very difficult to actually dodge them. Oh my god, sorry about all the frame. Yeah, sorry about all these frame drops, I can't do anything about it. The Wi-Fi is not great. Oh what, you can walk on that? I did not know you could walk on that. Now if you're careful, you can actually avoid those shots by going into the wall, but I didn't do that because I'm bad at this. And then finally, in this last part of the level, we have another part where icicles fall and break stuff. Except this time we're sliding. It's kind of slow, we can't really speed this up at all unfortunately because you can't roll while you're sliding. You can skip this turn here with a very, very precise jump, but I'm not going to because I'm bad at it. I might see if I can get a star here, because it's always useful. And now here's one of the gimmick levels of the game, down the mountain. It's essentially just snowboarding. But we get a lot of coins in this level, so without this level we would not be able to get the 1,000 coins and we'd have to go out of our way to get coins. But thanks to this level we don't. So essentially all I'm going to do for this level is try not to die and try and collect as many coins as possible. In this section after this checkpoint, you'll see the bulldozer. He creates spikes of ice like that, and you have to avoid, you essentially just have to jump over them. They're always in the same place every time, so you can predict where they're going to be. If you're very unlucky, you can land on them in such a way that you essentially just take damage over and over again, and you get insta-killed. That's very rare though, thankfully. So the bulldozers just vanished into thin air, so now we can continue like normal in this other section, which is essentially the same as the first section, just with a few more turns. My momentum just stopped. It just stopped. That's never happened before. Oh well. This section is essentially you're inside a volcano suddenly. Don't know how all the ice isn't melting, but you're inside a volcano now. And all you have to do is just don't touch anything except pressing jump as soon as you hit that red part. And you're done. If you actually tilt to the left and right, you can actually fall off of these. But as long as you just press jump as soon as you hit that red section, this section's easy. Have to be careful to jump off at the end of that rail, because if you don't, you won't actually make the jump. And the same with this rail. And coming up here is the worst section of this level. See, the camera's turning back towards us now. And we have to avoid the icicles that this bulldozer throws out, which can be a big pain, because once you get hit by one, you get closer to it, which means it's harder to avoid the others. All while we can't see what's ahead of us. And there is actually a blind jump partway through this level. See what I mean? If you get hit by like too many of those icicles, you're dead. Because it draws you closer and closer towards it. I don't usually get hit, but occasionally he can just hit you for no reason. See, this time I'm not getting hit at all. If you get hit once, it's game over. So there's actually a blind jump coming up right here. You have to actually press the jump button right there. There was no way you could tell that was coming if you were playing this game for the first time. So I have no idea how anyone thought that was a good idea to put into the game. And this is the end of the level. We might actually take damage at the end here. Yeah. And now we have crystal mines. This is quite a nice level. This is where we're going to actually make all 50 stars, because there's a lot of enemies in this level, and there's a lot of stars that I can get. So first we kill this enemy, and hit this button. There is a way of skipping this, but it saves like a second, and it's risky because you have to jump on loads of very, very small parts of this track. Now, instead of jumping to this minecart and being taken down, all I'm going to do is just jump over this fence right here. Hit this switch. And we can make this jump, rather than breaking the, killing the guy and opening the gate. Ooh, fell out of that. Now, instead of going to the right here and jumping on that bounce pad, the camera decided to screw me over. Thanks, camera. So what I was trying to do there is land on that rock, but the camera decided it was going to face upwards for some reason. But landing on that rock lets us use a different bounce pad to skip the others. I'm going to use the momentum of that minecart to get a little bit of extra speed as I jump off of there. Tail swing into that to open this gate. And jump up here. So how many stars do I actually have now? 40. Wow, I'm low. I'm actually really low on stars, so I'm going to try and get as many as I can in this part, because there's a lot of them in this part. I don't know how I'm quite so low on stars, but I should have enough. If I kill all of these, I should still have enough. So yeah, there's 2 stars I can get here, so that's going to be enough. So now we have 50 stars and we've unlocked the first ability, which is to glide. We're not actually going to be using that in the next world at all, for reasons that will become obvious when you see what the next world is. But we will be using it extensively in the world after. So instead of going all the way around the back there, we can just use the momentum and jump over here. And once we go in this train, it will take us to the second boss. This boss is a side-scroller. Essentially, all you have to do is take out these pirates. They take 2 shots each, but they will dodge behind stuff if you take too long.
Submarines are no good.
And then after that we get a cannon section where we have to essentially just spam the buttons as fast as possible to take this guy out. And also try and avoid getting hit 4 times by those barrels, which can be a pain if you want to balance between getting him out fast and not dying. The locations of these pirates are all the same every time, so... Oh, what? Okay, that should have hit him. I actually have to be careful not to die now. But I did, so that's cool. If you jump while you're strafing, it's actually faster. Ah, barely missed that guy before he dodged. So we can jump and extend our jump with a thing, boomerang throw. And that's the second boss of the game. Now the next world is the water world. And you're going to see a variety of levels in this. The first one is going to be above the water. The first one is going to be a boat race.
Na miejsca, gotowi, start!
Na miejsca? So yeah, that's the Polish translation, because this part hasn't been patched for some reason. So the route I'm going to take is the route that I believe is the fastest. You actually avoid a shortcut up there because the shortcut doesn't have a boost, and this part does. So I'm going to try and take the other 2 shortcuts though. So we take a boost up here, go through this hoop which opens up the shortcut permanently. You don't actually have to go through it on every lap in the Polish version. In the other versions you have to go through those hoops on every lap to open up the shortcut. But on the Polish version it's only lap 1 and the shortcuts stay open. If we go to the bottom, it's slightly quicker than going up those ramps to collect the purple boosts. And essentially this is really easy. And at the end of this level we will get 1,000 coins, which is why one of the reasons we only need to collect 1,000 during the main gameplay rather than the 3,000 that we need to unlock the last part of the game. Now because we've already gone through this hoop, what I'm going to do instead is go to the left here to try and get this speed up power up. And because the speed up power is actually in this hoop, I might as well go through it anyway. But yeah, this race is really easy. There's hardly any way you can actually lose it. Apart from the PSP version of the game, which is a kind of extended version of the game, where they tweaked a few things, including this race. They made you way slower than your opponents on the PSP version. So that version is actually kind of hard to beat the race on. So lap 3 of the race is just exactly the same as lap 2. When we don't have a boost, I can just spam the boost button, which will give me a short burst of speed. It's not as quick as having the boost, but it's like better than not pressing the button at all. Okay, that was kind of bad. And now we have got the 1,000 coins for winning the race. And we can head to the next level, which is conveniently exactly in the same area as the last level in the hub, so I can literally just spam the button to get to the next level. Hostile Reef, which is an underwater swimming level. And because it's underwater and because we can move in all axes, it's pretty easy to clip out. And because it's pretty easy to clip out, we can essentially break the whole level. So essentially, just by swimming against this particular part of the wall, we will eventually break free above the barrier that prevents us from getting out the top. And if we can technically go directly to the end of the level, but that would avoid like a ton of load zones and everything would be invisible, so no one does that, it's almost impossible. So instead what I'm going to do is just follow the level along, except above it, so I don't have to complete any of the tasks that I would normally have to in order to progress to the next part. Which would be essentially getting a missile and freeing the tortoises. Turtles, not tortoises. Tortoises don't go underwater. And then this part here, right next to this rocket, is the load zone to the next level, which is Deep Ocean.
Press the attack button to fire a torpedo. You can shoot as many as you want.
So Deep Ocean, the main gimmick is you're on these torpedoes and you can shoot them. And you're meant to, and as soon as you kind of hit a wall, if you take too much damage, you die. But thanks to this conveniently placed net, we can just clip out of bounds. This game did get released in North America, but I don't think the release was as wide. In Europe it got released on PlayStation 2, Xbox and GameCube and PC. In North America it got released in the didn't get released on the Xbox. It was going to, but they cancelled it. And I don't think the release was as wide. I don't think they made as many copies of it in America. Interestingly, the English dub in the American version and the English version is, not the English, the European version is completely different. They just redubbed the entire thing. Probably because the dub in the European version is pretty bad. You're listening in this version, which I'm playing is the Polish version, which is patched. You're listening to the American dub. So after going on this preset path, we should have an area low to the left of us. Except it isn't. Oh no, it is. There you go. Hang on, I need to go above that. And right, this part of the level is right at the end, so now we can move down here and go past the load zone, which will take us to the boss of the water world, which is this octopus. We can actually speed up and slow down our swimming by pressing 2 buttons, but if we unpress the button to slow down our swimming, for some reason, if we get hit, it's an insta game over, so I'm going to be very careful when I do that to try and get more shots in. The cycles for this, essentially, you destroy all his tentacles, you hit his bottom like that, and then he fires out a bunch of squid from his bum. And you have to destroy the squid. And then you get to the next part, which is again destroying the tentacles, which take a certain amount of hits each, I think. And now we're on to the last cycle, so not getting many hits in this time. I'm not doing so well at this cycle. I'm going to speed up a little bit here in order to try and get to the other side faster. And this should be the last hit. So that is the water world complete, and the next world is the island world, which is another kind of normal platforming world. Except the island world is where the skips start getting very difficult. So we will see how well the skips go. This pelican is a recurring character that you'll see a lot in this world. Now, because we've been moving this entire time since I got the 50 stars,
Gotowi? Start! One of your skills. Now you jump farther.
yeah, because we've been moving the entire time since I got the 50 stars way back, she hasn't had a chance to actually say, you can jump further. But now she has. The jumping physics with this pelican, which you have to ride on this part of the level, kind of weird. Like, you have to constantly press the button, otherwise you lose all your momentum. Which is why I died there. We can skip most of this initial part by just jumping around it. Okay, that was entirely my fault. I should have landed on those. Now, things look a little bit glitchy here, but that's because we skipped the previous part. Because if you skip certain parts, other parts don't load properly, which you will see in the next level, can be a problem when it comes to speedrunning this game. So essentially all we have to do is just ride this pelican towards this part. We'll jump off automatically here. Ignore this pirate, we don't need to worry about any enemies from now on. Apart from them hitting us. Just do all the platform here. No way of skipping any of this platforming. At least not that we know of. I'm gonna do an animation skip here. Oh, actually, okay, I forgot I don't actually have any boomerangs. I thought I had some. So we can't do the animation skip there. We're gonna use the extended jump ability just to skip over to here without having to go the long way around. And I'm gonna throw a thing at this thing, and that's the only balloon that we actually have to do. And if we're lucky with the cycles, which we were this time, we can jump on this platform immediately. And we can also jump directly from this platform with the flight ability to this platform. Collect the boomerangs because we're going to need them, otherwise we're going to get hit by the spiders. And just do this barrel ride. Sometimes this barrel can move very slowly, and I don't know what causes it to sometimes go so slow. But thankfully this time it was moving fast. Now coming up here is one of the more interesting and difficult skips of the game. You're meant to go through that normally, and it will cause the lava to start rising. But if you do it this way, you bypass the trigger that causes the lava to start rising. And that allows us to do something interesting with this pelican. Now we're going to start riding him and just go up this area normally. And we're going to end up jumping off the pelican at a certain point. Right about here. But instead of continuing on, what I'm going to do is stand on this and just look at how high the pelican's getting. And once it's reached a certain point, something interesting will happen when I continue playing. Okay, so we've reached an interesting point now, so now I'm going to just roll into this. And you'll see that we just get warped instantly up to where the pelican is. The camera can kind of glitch out here, which can be an issue. So what we were trying to do is go to the end of the level, but we failed at that. But this is still faster because the Okay, I apologize for that. I'll wait for the pelican to go all the way up again, because we just jumped off him. So essentially what we're trying to do is warp to the right at the top of the level, and then jump down to the load zone. I failed because the camera decided it was going to be a pain. But it's okay, because we can do the same thing again. And we didn't get all the way to the top of the level. But we got most of the way until I decided I was going to ground pound into the lava. Like I say, this is one of the harder skips, and I've not had much practice. So I'm going to try it one more time, and then I'm going to try this normally. If the camera was not such a pain, this skip would be easy, but because the camera decides it's gonna go in random places and it messes a bunch of stuff up. Okay, so we're pretty much done. I just had to be very careful of the camera there. So we can just jump into this duplicate pelican and get to the next level of the game, where we will have another skip that involves the pelican. But first we have to go through this section, which is a bit of a pain because the enemies are very good at just hitting you out of thin air, and you'll just lose all momentum if you get hit.
Ow! Ow!
Which, when you're doing jumps over water, can be an issue. I'm dropping inputs. Okay, that's good. So we can actually make this jump if we're very careful by jumping, hovering, and then throwing the boomerang right at the last minute. And that skips a bunch of the level, but it also skips a load.
You gather up the fish, I'll be
Hang on, I'll
able
wait
to
for him to
play
finish
without
talking.
a break.
But it also skips a load zone, so initially we're fine. We just have to fly and catch these fish so we continue flying. But once we reach this island here, you'll see that the rest of the level, including the fish, isn't loaded. So I have to do this blind. I can see the first fish, but I can't see the rest. Thankfully there is a checkpoint just before it, so if I fail it like that, it's fine. But it can be a pain, especially if you've not practiced. Like me. So this one fish after this land section is the most annoying one, in my opinion. I did hit it, but okay, so I hit it at that time, but I missed the one after. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm not hitting this one. It should be right there. Okay, there we go. So now we've made it across this section. The rest of it's fine because it's not blind anymore, because this section loaded in. But because that area was unloaded, it makes that skip a lot more difficult. But coming up, we're going to actually exploit the fact that certain areas don't load. there is a gate that we're meant to use a boulder to do, and we're meant to go through some hoops to lower the tracks to make the boulder hit the gate. The gate is down here, like as you can see. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to get out of bounds like this by abusing the geometry of the level. And we're going to go to a certain area which causes the gate to unload while we're still in that area. So if we go right to this area like that, past the certain load zone, and jump back down, you see that the gate is actually unloaded now because we bypassed the gate's loading zone. Because the gate is unloaded, we can just go right through it without actually breaking it. This spider's annoying, so I'm going to take it out. Bypass that entire area by just jumping on the pillars. And then try and avoid these crabs, which can be quite difficult. And then this is the end of this level. We have to destroy this pirate, and then take out this cannon. And then the pelican will come down to take us to the next one, which is the last part of this world. The volcano. And we've got a big skip right here. Don't know why I collected those. We can jump on this rock, and then jump on. Most of these rocks you can't land on, but there's a few that you can if you get into the right spot. So we're going to jump on this first rock, jump over to this second rock, which I failed to land on because I didn't hit the exact spot that I needed to. Okay, why am I not landing on this rock? There we go. And then we can go out of bounds, land on top of this area. And now this is all going to be unloaded, so it's going to be a pain to navigate. Thankfully, we've got this one kind of shimmer of light here, which I can use to help me. So I kind of want to go exactly 90 degrees here, which is a pain if it's unloaded. But once this area loads in, you know exactly where you need to go. So we just go above this roof. That solves a lot of puzzle solving that comes with this level. And then in order to get back in bounds, we can hit this spring, which for whatever reason brings us back in bounds through the wall. And we've got another one of these sections where we have to dash away from something. And this is where we're going to get most of the coins that bring us up to that 2,000 count that we need. And then after this level is complete, we will get 1,000 coins, which will bring us to the 3,000 that we need to access the last part of the game. So we've got the 2,000 coins that we need, so I don't really have to focus on getting coins at all. So I'm going to get this boomerang, because otherwise taking out this guy is going to be a big pain. And I'm going to try and manipulate this guy so he's moving backwards and forwards so I can just constantly throw it at him. Killing him opens this gate. And now we've got 2 pirates here. But we only need to kill this first one. The other one doesn't open anything, but this one opens this gate. And through this gate we have the last part of this level. You see a kind of grabber thing there, we're going to be using that in a second. But first we have to go up this painfully slow elevator. And kill one more pirate guy. Oh, what? I'm out of, I guess I didn't collect one of the power-ups that I normally do. So now this gate's open, we can go down here. And for whatever reason, there is an invisible checkpoint right here.
The directional
And what we have to do here is pick up the treasure. And avoid getting the other things that appear sometimes. Now you'd think this would be RNG, because it looks like something that would be RNG, and you'd think that you'd want to have good RNG and avoid getting those other things. But this is actually preset. I know where everything's going to appear. And I know exactly which ones are going to be safe to collect and which ones aren't. And if you do grab one of those things, you have to do this part all over again. So once we get 20 of the treasure pieces, instead of actually letting the game continue, which will take us to a boss, I'm just gonna go back to hub, because we now have the 3,000 coins that we need. So instead of doing the boss, now we have the 3,000 coins. I can just go directly to the last part of the lane.
Here's your money, you muscle-bound ape. Now get out of my sight. I don't have time to mess with you.
Which just helps us skip a boss. They just completely forgot that you could return to hub, I guess. So this is the last part of the game, which is, I call it the port. I think they call it the port in the source code as well. Abandoned town. There's a few skips in this level, so that's quite neat. Go jump in this box first off, which isn't... no real skips for this part. Get picked up by this grabber thing. Jump on top of this box, which you're meant to push to get over there, but you can just do it without. And then instead of going through all of this like platforming puzzle challenge, I can just jump up here like that. Can jump on top of this part of the fence, and then jump over here to skip a small elevator. And then I need these boomerangs. Hang on. To skip a large part of the level right here, what you're meant to do is go through here, activate a switch, and then do a bunch of other stuff, but you can just fly all the way over here and use the boomerang, and that will skip a lot of the level. But as we can see, because we skipped a bunch of that, a bunch of stuff isn't loaded. So I'm going up this invisible ramp right here. And then to skip a bit more, we can do a jump up here. Ah! I usually make that. That was unfortunate. My inputs are dropping though, so... So I have to do this normally, well not normally, but I have to climb back up here because I messed up that. So now we can just jump down here. Looks like I'm gonna die, but I'm not, because in fact this area isn't water, it's just completely unloaded. Yeah, that jump can be done without the boomerang, it's just safer with it, and I wasn't gonna risk it because this run's bad enough as it is. So now we're doing this area. We're meant to be facing, the camera's meant to be facing the other way, but because we unloaded this area, it's facing forwards instead, which is actually pretty helpful because we can see what's coming. There is a ship that's kind of blowing this stuff up. It's not just concrete disintegrating for no reason. But because the camera's facing the opposite way to what it's meant to, we can't actually see the ship. And then the load zone is just down here. The ship's not appeared for some reason, but the load zone's still here. So now we're inside the ship, which is the last level before the final boss. The part of this level is we're meant to free all of the animals that we saw earlier.
Save Just
So we want to say, so basically we've got to free this pelican, one of the beavers. Yeah, the pelican, one of the beavers, a turtle, and the polar bear. Except we're not actually going to be freeing the polar bear. No, we're going to be freeing the polar bear. We're not going to be freeing the turtle because we skipped that. We're also not going to be freeing the parrot, which is a character that appeared at the beginning of the game, which we skipped the cutscene for. We can skip climbing on this net by just hovering. Those spikes are insta-kill, as you just saw. I kind of missed that one. Because I usually have boomerangs at this point, but I forgot. I'm going to have to climb back up because you need to free this polar bear to get to the next part. So yeah, we can skip that net. It's easy with boomerang. Don't know why I called it polar bear, it's not really a polar bear. Camera, thank you for just randomly changing angle. That's much appreciated. And as we walk through here, we will see the parrot, which will not be saving after we go through this kind of platforming. So, yeah. Freeing the pelican right now, which also opens this gate. The parrot's going to ask us to save it. We're not going to. We're also not going to save the turtle. This platforming section is pretty annoying because your turning circle in this game is really wide. It's actually less wide in the European version, but the European version is slower in every other aspect, so. Wow, I'm really being bad at this right now. Let's do it this way instead. Yeah, that works. So instead of freeing this thing, we're going to just do a nice careful jump up here, which we can land on for some reason. Jump on top of the parrot's cage. Jump on top of these platforms right here, and through this gate, which will lead us to the end of the level and to the final boss. Now, this is the first phase of the final boss. We shoot him twice, and then he will make some fire appear, break apart the floor, and then go to the other side, and we rinse and repeat this until this phase is over. Nothing really to this, you just shoot him a lot and avoid getting hit. So that's 2 more cycles to this phase. And now the parrot will come and take us to the next part, the next phase, because somehow the parrot survived even though we didn't free him. This is just a pure platforming part. You just have to do this fast enough to avoid getting put into the water. Oh yeah, what Radix is talking about there, the coin duping strategy. We found a way of duplicating coins, but it's way slower. And now for the last part of this battle, I'm gonna try and manipulate this guy into not moving by just being ahead of him and just spam him with boomerangs. And it is time when the boomerang hits him now.
You beat me!
Okay, so that was 1:10:08. But my timer didn't stop. It was barely estimate. Yeah, my timer didn't stop, so I'm gonna, I don't know why. But yeah, that was KO2. That was a bad run of KO2, but it was a run. It was barely sub-estimate. It was barely not sub-estimate. Yeah. What? I don't know what runs next. I don't think it was announced in the chat, so... Okay, it's DuckTales. Yeah, you can cut at any time. This is the end of the game. There's nothing else to show, really.